degrees on a frigid day here at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. The Hawkeyes set to host Nebraska. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick will join us in just a minute from here at Kinnick Stadium. It feels like a Big Ten kind of football afternoon. We've got wind chill factors below 20 degrees. The stadium is packed, and we expect to see Big Ten type football. Both of these teams like to run it. The top 3 running backs finalists for the Doak Walker Award, they're all in the Big Ten, and Ameer Abdullah is on the list.
And Ameer Abdullah, get used to seeing him because you're going to be seeing him on Sundays as well. Not a real big guy. He's like 5'9". He's under 200 pounds, but great toughness, great vision, an ability to accelerate, and that's what he really does extremely well. And he'll be having to do that today because the defense that they're going against is formidable. And one of the top guys, number 71, Carl Davis, you'll be watching him on Sundays as well, too. He's a physical freak. He can take over a game, but he has help. Drew Ott on the outside. Kind of reminds me of an old All-American they had here, Jared DeVries. Same type of motor, same kind of never-stopping perseverance. And then Louis Trinca-Passat. While I love the name, I love his performance even better. He plays with a high motor. Those 3 will determine how well that Iowa defense plays today.
It's become a rivalry between Nebraska and Iowa, and we'll return to Iowa City in just a moment. College football presented by Kay Jewelers will continue after these messages and a word from our local ABC stations. Welcome back to Iowa, just about set for kickoff between Nebraska and the Hawkeyes. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen upstairs. Down on the field, Quinn Kesnick. And Quinn, injuries on both sides to talk about today.
Specifically Nebraska, who's lost back-to-back ball games. They've been hit really hard in terms of the injury department. They're going to be playing without 4 starters today. Let's start with the good news, though. Kenny Bell, wide receiver, 37 catches, had a head injury last week. He's been cleared to play. He warmed up, and he will start. Fellow wide receiver Alonzo Moore out with a turf toe. You lose 2 offensive linemen, center Mark Pelini, right tackle Zach Stirrup. They're both out. But I think the biggest loss is Randy Gregory, defensive end. Multiple injuries. He's a game-changing pass rusher, 7 sacks. He will not play. He's in a warm-up suit on the sideline. Add to that, safety Corey Cooper is out. This Nebraska team lacking depth in terms of wide receivers and defensive ends, Bob.
And we were looking forward to seeing that matchup. Randy Gregory, number 2 on Mel Kiper's big board, going up against Brandon Scherf, the left tackle, number 6 on Mel's big board. Not to happen today, though. Good kickoff return by Jonathan Parker out to about the 31-yard line. So here comes the junior Jake Rudock, 14-9 in his career as a starter. And he has a hammer looking for a nail, a tailback Mark Weisman that helps him out.
That's a good way to put it. A hammer looking for a nail. That's exactly right. And Jake Rudock is going to have to rely on that hammer for most of this afternoon. And he's also going to have to rely on that offensive line. That's going to be the matchup, this offensive line against this defensive front.
Iowa won last year in Lincoln against Nebraska. They have not won back-to-back games since the 1942-43 seasons. But our rivalry game gets underway with a Weisman carry out to about the 34-yard line, a gain of 3. And let's check our impact players.
Well, when you start talking about Iowa and offensive line, Randy Scherf is their left tackle. He'll be a high pick, and he's a big, powerful guy. But Nate Gary, the safety from Nebraska, we will call his name a lot today. He's going to be active in the run game and in the pass game. Great instincts.
We talked about Ameer Abdullah being one of the 3 finalists for the Doak Walker Award. Brandon Scherf is one of the 3 finalists for the Outland Trophy, going to the best interior lineman in college football. And according to our draft guys, specifically Mel Kiper, he's a top 10 pick. Weisman again for 2 more yards. Now it'll be 3rd down and 4.
The thing about Brandon Scherf that's impressive, he's a big, powerful guy, but he has good movement. And so they're not afraid to bring him around and pull him on certain things. He's a guy who he kind of controls the offensive line. He's the leader of that group. And as he goes, this offensive line goes.
Rudock to throw for the first time. Pressure right up the middle. He'll take off and a run. And he's got a first down. Malik Collins was right in the face of Jake Rudock, but couldn't bring him down.
Yeah, that's number 7, Malik Collins. You can watch him on the inside. That's a great job beating him to the inside. They isolated that right guard and gave him a two-way go. And Collins is the next man up in terms of rushing the passer. Gregory out of there. Collins has to kind of take that thing over.
Jordan Kanziri, he's more of the speed guy, gets to the sideline, steps out of bounds with a big first down for Iowa, and that has been the soft underbelly, Matt, of this Nebraska defense. They have been beaten to the perimeter the past couple of weeks, especially over and over again.
Watch Malik Collins. He beats Walsh to the inside. Kanziri sees it right away and bounces it to the outside. If they can get the edge on this Nebraska defense, which has had trouble the last 2 weeks, particularly on that left side of holding the edge, that's a big piece of the puzzle for their running game.
Well, it's Weissman back in now in the eye. And normally up the middle is not the place where big yards are found against the Nebraska defense. They've been okay between the tackles, but boy, when you watched the film and saw Melvin Gordon and even Leidner, the quarterback for Minnesota, break contain last week, there were chunk plays in the run game for both Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Well, you know, every game is different, but Greg McMullen, number 90, that left defensive end, the last 2 weeks he struggled holding that edge.
Play action. Plenty of room to run for Rudock. Instead he flips one. And it's the fullback John Kenny making only his 3rd reception of the season, but that's good enough for a first down for Iowa. They're in the red zone.
And what you'll find out of Rudock is a heady player. He's not going to make mistakes. He's going to take exactly what the defense gives him. He doesn't take a lot of chances, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. But if it's there, he'll find it. You saw it right there.
Back to Kanziri at tailback. And you'll see a lot of 2 tight end single setback formations from the Hawkeyes. They'll run to that strong side. There's Kanziri with a cutback inside the 10. First and goal, Hawkeyes at the 6.
That's just really well blocked. Again, on the edge. And they're taking advantage of not setting the edge defensively. You're going to watch back here on the outside. Just really well blocked. They came down inside with a stun. They took advantage of it. Kanziri, he just follows his eyes. Anytime you're going to have Gary making a lot of tackles, that's a bad sign for this Nebraska defense.
Well, 2 of their top 3 tacklers are safeties. One of those, Corey Cooper, out of the lineup today. First and goal. Rudock, another bullet in the end zone, and it's intercepted. Talk about a red zone stop. It's Nate Gary with his 5th interception of the season. And Nebraska gets a takeaway, and they've got the football.
And Gary, all he was doing was called the robber position. He's just sitting down in the middle, and he's eyeballing the quarterback. This is perfectly executed by Gary. See him in the middle? Go find the ball.
Back at Kinnick Stadium, coming into today, Iowa's offense was the only Big Ten offense without a red zone turnover. As our friend Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, this is all man coverage. You can see it straight up. Here's Gary sitting in the back. Normally, he would be back here in what they call 1-3. But in this position, you're more like a robber. You sit to the middle, and you eyeball the quarterback. And once you see Rudock's eyes go to the tight end duty, you just make the play. Well played by Gary. Just a sophomore. The kid's got some great instincts.
Only the 5th interception thrown by Jake Rudock this season. So now Tommy Armstrong on first down. Hands to Ameer Abdullah. And he is right up the gut for a gain of about 8. And Tommy Armstrong is a weapon as well. Ameer Abdullah gets all of the publicity, and rightfully so. He and Kenny Bell are spectacular players, but Tommy Armstrong is number 3 in the Big Ten in total offense per game.
Yeah, just a sophomore and seemingly getting better week to week. And you know the best thing about Tommy Armstrong, he got better from the beginning of the season till now.
Abdullah again. maybe a yard. Josie Jewell made the stop. And let's take a look at our impact players when the Huskers have the football.
Well, if you start talking about it, Nebraska, you have to talk about Ameer Abdullah. He's a big play waiting to happen. And you have to look at Iowa. Carl Davis and Louis Trinket-Passat, those two defensive interior linemen, those guys are outstanding players. They do a lot of things well. But as they go, this defense goes.
That's Ameer Abdullah in motion. A sprint out that way for Armstrong. Wide open is Abdullah, but Armstrong threw it behind him. The motion for Abdullah accomplished exactly what Nebraska hoped. He was wide open in the flat, but Tommy Armstrong couldn't put the football on his running back.
Yeah, and that's a blown coverage. You never let a running back run clean like that. They have two guys coming off the edge to put pressure on Armstrong. He's got to slow himself down and make that throw because Abdullah had a big play.
Sam Foltz, number 4 in the Big Ten in net punting, set to kick it away. So Nebraska gets the red zone turnover and the takeaway. Now it's Matt Vandenberg from his own 14-yard line. Gets to the edge. Pretty good return. Lost the football on his way down. Was he down or did he cough it up? It's another giveaway by Iowa. Nebraska has it back at the Hawkeye 34-yard line. Looks like Chris Jones got the recovery for the Huskers.
Yeah, it's out. That's a pure fumble. It's a good call by the officials. Now, you've talked to any coach at any level of football, and the first thing they'll tell you is, we can't give the ball away. You can't beat yourself. Well, in this first, how many minutes? The first 10 minutes of the game, they've given it away twice.
To Abdullah to the 32-yard line. Drew Ott made the stop, but 2 turnovers by Iowa in the first 9 minutes of the football games got Nebraska within striking distance.
What Nebraska's offense tries to do is they try to spread you, and they try to get you running as a defensive line. And in that movement, that's where Abdullah does a great job of using his vision and his short area quickness. Gets through the hole to second level.
Armstrong keeps it this time and gets bottled up at the 30. It'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Hard to believe that Kirk Ferentz has been in Iowa City now for 16 years. A 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. Hayden Fry, Bo Schembechler, and Joe Paterno, along with Kirk Ferentz, the only 3-time winners or more of Coach of the Year in the Big Ten.
Well, I'm a big Kirk Ferentz fan. I think he does as good a job of any coach in the country at developing his players and also evaluating high school players.
Four-man rush on 3rd and 6. They get a free rusher that Armstrong avoids, but he can barely get back to the line of scrimmage. Carl Davis eventually brought him down. And now what do you do if you're Nebraska? 4th down and a long 6 close to 7. It's just too far to try a field goal. Now it looks like they're going to bring Drew Brown out, and they're going to attempt in frigid temperatures close to a 50-yarder.
Yeah, that's just shy of 50 yards. They'll mark it as a 49-yarder, but it's more like 49.5.
Brown's long on the season is 44. This one from 49. Well wide to the right. So in spite of 2 turnovers by Iowa in the opening 12 minutes, they've got the football back in pretty good field position, and we're still scoreless.
And the bigger piece of the puzzle is their defense came to play.
Hopefully everyone is having a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, and the Nebraska football team on Wednesday morning tried to spread some holiday cheer as they made their annual pre-Thanksgiving hospital visits in the Lincoln area. Student athletes speaking with caregivers, signing autographs, and hopefully everyone is having a safe and happy start to the holiday season, as it's been anything but safe for Iowa so far. They've given the ball away twice, but they dodged a bullet, missed field goal, and a jet sweep on first down. Weissman on what should be the final play of the first quarter for a gain of close to 5. So we're still scoreless, but Iowa back in Nebraska territory at the end of the first quarter. And we'll return to Iowa City in just a moment. College football presented by Kay Jewelers will continue after these messages and a word from our local ABC stations. You're watching ESPN on ABC. A windy day here in Iowa City. Wind chill factors below 20 degrees and no score so far between Nebraska and Iowa. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quint Kesnick. Happy Thanksgiving from that guy to you and yours. Iowa has turned the ball over twice. A red zone interception thrown by Jake Rudock on their first possession. And Matt Vandenberg fumbled a punt, and yet Nebraska unable to get on the board. And now the Hawkeyes start the second quarter with 2nd down and 5 in Nebraska territory. They stretch it again with Jordan Canzeri. Strong run and a first down. Canzeri has been nursing hip and ankle injuries all season. Mark Weissman, of course, is the workhorse, but Canzeri has a little bit of a burst to the edge, and Matt, that has been the areas we talked about that Nebraska's defense has struggled.
Yeah, they have, and Canzeri, when he's healthy, is a pretty good little player. And he's a guy who can get to the edge, where Weissman is the guy who's the hammer between the tackles.
Play action for Rudock. Lofts one down the sideline, and a miscommunication with Cavante Martin-Manley, who broke off his route at about the 15-yard line. Cockrell came on a blitz and pressured Rudock.
Yeah, and he was untouched. Cockrell came, nobody accounted for him, and Rudock had to be able to make a decision just to throw the ball away. And it's a smart decision. Cockrell comes up inside. That should be accounted for. You have the 4 down and him, and here he comes. And so live for another day. Throw the ball away, you're okay.
Confusion, Nebraska trying to get lined up on defense. 2nd down and 10. They rush 4. Rudock underneath. Very close to a first down, the tight end Ray Hamilton, and it looks to be good enough to move the chains for Iowa.
Hamilton and Doozy are a big part of this offense, and especially in today's game, because Nebraska's linebackers have struggled a little bit in that second level. I would say if there's one area of this Nebraska defense that's not up to their normal standard, it has been these backers this year.
They lost Michael Rose to a knee injury in summer camp. He was a true freshman that started in Mike linebacker last season. 1st and 10 Iowa after the timeout. They run to the short side, and Canzeri gets to about the 10-yard line. Nate Gary came up and made the stop for the Huskers after a gain of about 4.
Okay, so Nebraska has had a problem defending the edge. Iowa doesn't really have a real speed guy except for Canzeri. But here's the thing. They continue to go to the edge, and first down has been very good to Iowa. They've been getting at least 4 or 5 yards and setting up 2nd and manageable, very manageable. Nebraska has to be able to do a better job off that edge.
Not much for Canzeri on 2nd down. Brings up a big 3rd down. 3rd down from inside the 10. And Iowa's offense has been a very efficient red zone offense when they've gotten there. 32 touchdowns. This is their 40th trip, but their only trip so far to the red zone today. They turned it over on their opening possession when Rudock was picked off by Gary.
Well, they're not having a lot of success running inside. Most of that's Malik Collins. And when they've gotten pressure on the passer on Rudock, it's also been Malik Collins.
You bring pressure here for the Huskers?
Yeah, I do. You take a chance. Roll the dice, go man outside, keep somebody in the hole.
4-man rush, blitz off the edge, though. Rudock. Was the ball coming forward? Is that a fumble? It looks like they ruled that the ball was out, and that is a fumble. It's picked up by Trevor Roach. Zaire Anderson came off the edge and hit Jake Rudock. Now the decision for possibly the replay booth. Was this an arm moving forward incomplete pass, or is that turnover number 3?
That's a fumble. That's a fumble. He hit the ball before his arm ever started moving. Right there. His arm was going back to start a forward motion. The forward motion was started by the hit.
Momentum changing play as Jake Rudock now has a red zone interception to go along with a red zone fumble. Again, Iowa today, Matt, coming into this game, the only Big Ten offense without a red zone turnover. They've now turned it over twice in the red zone here in the first half. And we're still scoreless. Ameer Abdullah finds a cutback lane. About 6 yards on first down as Reggie Spearman made the stop. I think a couple eyes might be on ESPN tomorrow night, 7:45. When Auburn and Alabama play in the Iron Bowl.
I know mine will be.
Second up. Armstrong, well protected. That ball comes out, and it's intercepted. John Loudermilk walks into the end zone with a Hawkeye touchdown. Carl Davis got the pressure on Armstrong.
They brought a blitz. Coupled with those 4 down, and Davis is the difference. Watch big number 71, Carl Davis. And they're going to bring, you see the coming off the edge, but Davis gets one-on-one. And if you're going to single him, chances are he's going to win. And Loudermilk, with his instincts, Johnny on the spot, takes it back.
Iowa turns it over twice in the red zone, but then they get a takeaway for a score. The whole story between Iowa and Nebraska so far has been turnovers, and the first score of the game, a John Loudermilk pick 6.
Carl Davis right here is the guy who makes the play. It happens because they're going to bring a blitz, and they try to pick it up, and Givens Price on the outside has to come down inside. It's kind of an awkward position. See how he folds back inside, and Davis has a spin move on him. They're going to try to throw the ball deep, but Davis gets his hands on, hits the ball, obviously, and then it's in for a score. It's a protection that should have been handled, but because you had such a powerful man inside of Carl Davis, he's able to make the play.
Iowa gives the ball away 3 times, but the only turnover so far for Nebraska results in a touchdown. Kenny Bell has to take a knee in the end zone. That was a Matt Millen portion on the plate. Thanksgiving dinner Wednesday night for the Iowa Hawkeye football team. And then yesterday, Thursday, that became a work day because this is a Friday game where they're trying to build a rivalry between the Huskers and the Hawks. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quint Kesnick, Iowa City, 1st and 10 for Nebraska, down by a touchdown. On a rollout, it's Armstrong. Tucks it under. And he's out to about the 28, maybe the 29-yard line before he's brought down by Josie Jewell. As still Nebraska without a passing yard on offense. They've got 43 rushing yards and 0 passing yards so far.
If they're going to do anything with its offense, it has to have some balance. They have to be able to throw the football.
And Armstrong's hurt.
That's not a good sign. You look at this in the all-22. This is what they're trying to hit. They're going to try to come back here, and here's your secondary throw. Both are covered. He has to be able to pull it down and take off. But Armstrong's feet are such a big part of this offense. If they miss that piece, that's not a good sign for Nebraska.
And as you talked about earlier, they're missing 2 pieces on the offensive line with Zach Sterup out with an ankle injury, the right tackle, and Mark Pelini, who had a pretty severe ankle injury last week early against Minnesota. So you're down 2 starters on the offensive line. Now Tommy Armstrong is hurt. There's Riker Fife, the former walk-on sophomore quarterback that backs up Armstrong. Now that's not Armstrong's throwing arm, obviously, but he's holding that left arm limp. And so now we'll see what they can do with Riker Fife. Q, you're down there on the Nebraska sideline.
Yeah, Armstrong is not going over to the benches. Actually, the training staff appears to be looking at his ribs and his midsection. Cadence has been an issue so far from Nebraska, especially out of the shotgun. Let's see how the backup handles it.
Second down on a long 6, close to 7. Riker Fife, a jet sweep to the freshman DeMornay Pearson-El. And he's nowhere near the first down as Jordan Lomax makes the stop. So now third down coming up for Nebraska.
So you have Fife in the game. Right now I'm playing for a run the whole way, especially on that first play. And now it's 3rd and 4. It's manageable. So I'm going to tighten my coverage and still get after this. Maybe bring pressure here. Force him to have to make a real accurate throw. And it looks like that's what they're going to do.
Riker Fife has only attempted 9 passes this season and 10 in his career.
Be careful with the quarterback draw here.
High throw, and that looks like the quarterback cold coming off the bench. That can't convert on 3rd and 4, so it'll be a punt from Nebraska.
If that were Armstrong, he'd still be running. There was nobody there. They spread everybody out. Secondary was gone. There's nothing in the middle, but it's not Armstrong. Instead, it's Fife, and they did exactly what we thought they would do. Tight coverage, make him be very accurate.
You can see the medical staff looking at the midsection of Tommy Armstrong. We'll see if he can get back in there. As Iowa with a 7-0 lead, the only point scored by the Iowa defense. And a shanked punt out of bounds at about the Hawkeye 40-yard line.
Shankadelic.
At the 38-yard line, that looked like a Matt Millen 5-iron by Sam Foltz.
I don't even know what that is.
Neither did Foltz. Yikes. Great field position for Iowa after the shanked punt by Foltz. 4-man rush. Rudock well protected. Bullets one over the middle. Somehow it squeezes through, and it's scooped up by Martin Manley for a Hawkeye first down. He was bracketed, and somehow the ball got through.
Yeah, Zaire Anderson thought he was going to have a play on this ball. But Rudock does a great job of threading the needle. This is a really small window. See, Anderson's on the front side. He doesn't get his head turned around in time.
15-yard gain and a 3rd down Hawkeye conversion. Now it's Weissman back in at tailback as Zaire Anderson had a chance to knock one down and did not. Play action, man coverage on the outside. Rudock lets the route develop, and was that beautifully run. Cavante Martin Manley.
Now this is
on the outside.
Yeah, this is on Rudock's shoes. This is very good job of recognizing what you have. Look at this. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 3. That's an 8-man front, and he knows what he has on the outside locked up. So they go play action, and then just come across to the outside. He knows he has Martin Manley. Well done by Rudock.
Cavante Martin Manley, only 6 catches shy of setting a brand new Iowa record for most career catches.
And you have to defend these edges on the outside. That's where they're going.
With a cutback to the 5-yard line. Down to about the 3. It'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 4.
Yeah, I'd leave Malik Collins and Valentine. They're going to have to handle the middle. You saw Gary come down fast, and that's exactly what they have to be able to do. Both Kanzeri and Weissman, this is where they want to get. Sheriff does a nice job of creating that lane back inside. Right here, I'm run blitzing this thing. Take my chances on the outside. I'm bringing 9 guys to the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and goal inside the 5. Play action. Rudock on a bootleg. Throws it in the end zone for Martin Manley, and it's incomplete. And who was there in coverage again? Nate Gary. So they do hold to a field goal attempt. That's another big red zone stop for the Nebraska defense.
And it was exactly what we thought Iowa would do. Move the pocket, get it to the outside. They were anticipating they're going to have pressure coming up inside. So they went with play action and then roll him to the outside. He needed to set his feet. He didn't have to rush himself right there. It was going to be a tough throw because of Gary's coverage.
So Marshall Kane from only 22 yards out tacks on 3 for Iowa. But Nebraska doing a good job of limiting Iowa to only a field goal. Iowa has turned it over twice in the red zone. And this last red zone trip limited to a field goal. So they lead only 10-0 in spite of the fact, Matt Millen, that they have dominated field position. And Quinn Kesnick down on the Nebraska sideline. Who do you think's going in at quarterback here for the Huskers, Q?
Tommy Armstrong will come back for Nebraska. Had his ribs looked at, sat down on the bench. I think he's fine. Look for them to throw on first down.
Yeah, that's huge for Nebraska if they can have Armstrong back on the field at quarterback. And it'll be out to the 25-yard line on the touchback. Tommy Armstrong has yet to complete a pass. Armstrong looks for a big play to Bell. And that might have been intercepted. Desmond King picks it off. And Iowa has the ball back with plenty of time to add to their lead before halftime.
Desmond King had perfect position on the receiver. Watch him hang the outside. Now get on his hip. Bell never really, he had an opportunity to be able to get between the defender and the throw, but King did a great job of coming back underneath and making that play.
Desmond King, kind of the classic Iowa player, under-recruited. He committed to Central Michigan, then Ball State, and then finally, late in the process, Iowa made an offer. And he ends up in the Big Ten as a mid-season first-team All-Big Ten pick from ESPN.com. And comes up with the interception, his second of the season. Rudock finds Powell. The ball's ripped out. Josh Kalu pulled it away, and it's another takeaway for Nebraska. What a huge play by the Huskers defense with 1:07 to go before halftime. Joshua Kalu is a true freshman, getting the start today at nickel. Byerson Cockrell moving to safety with Corey Cooper out. So, Matt, how about this change of momentum as Tommy Armstrong, after throwing the pick, right back out there trying to score points before halftime?
Yeah, they've got to get something out of this. This is the best field position they've had. They've got to be able to at least get 3.
Iowa shows us if they're bringing pressure. And they do. Armstrong steps up and is brought down.
Tommy Armstrong,
Quentin Alston brought him down, but it was the pressure from Bo Bauer out on the edge that changed the protection up front.
Yeah, and forced him to come back up inside, and Alston's able to clear it up. This Iowa defense has met every challenge so far in this half.
Intended for Bell. Now it's 3rd down and 13 with 36 seconds to go in the half. Nebraska still with 2 timeouts. And doesn't Ameer Abdullah have to be more involved in this offense? He has not touched the ball these last couple of possessions at all.
And it's been their position down below and being tight in their line of scrimmage. But right here, what you want to do defensively for Iowa is show them one thing. You're going to sit in the zone, but you want to give them the look that you may bring pressure.
Armstrong deals it down the sideline. Stephen Carter inside the 10. The tight end leaked out, and Iowa lost track of Carter. And now it's 1st and goal on a big 3rd down conversion.
That whole thing comes down to Armstrong. He had great sense of knowing where the line of scrimmage was because it was close. As he approached it, he had that in the back of his head. As you're going to see, the line of scrimmage is right here. And as he takes off to run, he has a feel, and that's really well done.
Interesting personnel group now in the game for Nebraska. They've got Terrell Newby out there, a pair of tailbacks to either side of Armstrong on 1st and goal. Play action. It's open in the back of the end zone, and Armstrong's got a touchdown pass. It's Ameer Abdullah who leaked up the seam, and Nebraska gets the touchdown, and they are on the board before halftime.
That whole 7 points is completely on Armstrong. It was his feet for the big play, down to the sideline. And in this one again, he's able to find Ameer Abdullah. You're going to see Abdullah in the backfield right here. He's going to sneak down right inside. And they just blow the coverage on him. There's no one on him. Their eyes are in the backfield, and Abdullah's behind them. Not a good thing. Kirk Ferentz will tell his team, don't beat yourself, because that's all you did in the first half.
Wouldn't you think Bo Pelini would say the same to his team as we head down to Quint on the field?
Coach, outside of the turnovers, what was the single key development in that first half?
That's the whole game right now. You know, we've been playing well, but you got to hang on to the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
It was all turnovers for both sides in the first half. So the defense is making game-changing plays, and we've got a 10-7 game at halftime with Iowa on top of Nebraska. We'll head to the studio in the Capital One halftime report in a moment. This presentation of college football presented by Kay Jewelers will continue after this message and a word from our local ABC stations. Just about set for the start of the third quarter between Nebraska and Iowa. Hawkeyes with a field goal lead. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick will join us in a moment. Turnovers. That was basically the entire story of the first half.
Yeah, you know, if you go back and look at that offensive line for Iowa, they did everything they wanted to do. They wanted to control the ball, they did. But what they didn't do is they didn't count on miscues, and they've had a bunch of them. It's still anybody's game, and you look at the stats, and look at the time of possession. More than doubled. More than double, almost double the total yards. So Iowa's been in complete control. They've just handed it over.
It was a turnover before halftime that created the short field for Nebraska and gave them their first score. So Jake Rudock will have to sit on the sideline and watch Tommy Armstrong start the third quarter with the football as Nebraska won the toss, deferred their option. So they'll get the first possession of the second half. And Kenny Bell lets this one bounce through the back of the end zone. And let's check in with Quinn.
Third down defense must be improved if you're Bo Pelini in this Nebraska Cornhusker squad. That's what he told me. Gave me that as one of the bullet points. Second would be the right tackle position. They've really struggled backing up today. Gibbons-Price with a false start penalty, a holding penalty. They made a change late in that second quarter to number 59, Matt Finnan. So look for hopefully improvement if you're a Nebraska fan there. And then lastly, just be survivors. This team is banged up. It's the last game of the season. They're mucking this game up, trying to keep it close and find a way.
And Quint, to your point, Gibbons-Price on the bench, and it is Matt Finnan that will start the second half at right tackle as he ended the first half. On a keeper, face-to-face, Tommy Armstrong is stood up by Nate Meyer. A loss of a yard and a half. Second down and long. Again in the backfield, nowhere to go for Tommy Armstrong. And there's Carl Davis, the interior of that Iowa defensive line. That's their strength.
Yeah, Carl Davis, he just came from the backside. They actually went away from him, and he took the inside move. And then once he gets a hand on you, here he is right here. See, the center went the other way. The guard went the other way. Carl Davis was left all alone.
Third down and 15. High snap, pulled down by Armstrong. He throws one over the middle, and boy, did Armstrong get hit well behind Westerkamp, his intended receiver, and now Tommy Armstrong, who got waffled by Louis Trinca-Passat, is very slow to get up.
And so they run a stunt on the inside is what they did between Trinca-Passat right here, Trinca-Passat, and Davis right here, and it's going to go this way. And so you have to be able to pass that off, and it's a great pick by Carl Davis on Thurston. And he just takes him out and gets a one-on-one with Trinca-Passat to the other side. And the net result is a helmet to the kisser.
Foltz with a line drive kick. Fielded at the 41-yard line. Returnable and breaking tackles is Matt Vandenberg close to midfield. No gain on first down for Weissman. As we take a look at our playoff rankings. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Alabama and Auburn, of course, in the Iron Bowl tomorrow night at 7:45.
The Egg Bowl of Mississippi State and Ole Miss, but how about the game TCU played? They just walloped Texas. Second half wasn't even close.
They get to sit back now and watch what happens over the weekend. Play action, Rudock. Wide open. It's the fullback, John Kenny. And he's got a first down into Nebraska territory.
Just watching Rudock, it's different when you watch a guy live as opposed to tape. And the one thing I'm picking up here with Rudock is he sees the ball, but it doesn't come out as quick as it should. I mean, he sees the field, rather. But he doesn't. The ball should come out a little bit quicker and allow his receivers to do something with it after the catch. The guy's open. He just waits just a tad too long.
Play action. Rudock has all day. They'll tuck it under and run and slide for only a yard. He was looking end zone for Cavante Martin-Manley, but he was bracketed at the 5-yard line, so Jack Gangwish on the backside eventually brought him down.
You got to be able to see the whole field, though. While you may have Martin-Manley on one side, in the middle of the field, you got Smith all by himself. And was it a throw that he could have made? Yes. It was across the field, but you've got to see the whole field, something he normally does.
Manzeri to about the 37-yard line before he's brought down. And now a big play. Early in the third quarter, Iowa by a field goal, 3rd down and about 5. They're not in field goal range yet, you wouldn't think, here at the 37.
But what they did do is got to 3rd and manageable, so it's not 3rd long. Anything 3rd and 5 they feel good about. That gives you all your intermediate throws in play, and also you can still run it.
You could see the Hawkeyes better than 50-50 today on 3rd down at 5 for 8. Here comes a blitz. Rudock throws right behind the blitz. Into the open field is Tavon Smith. Touchdown.
Rudock saw the blitz. He knew he was manned outside. Was it a deep throw? No, but it was an accurate throw. And the accuracy is the difference in the play. Just get the ball into Smith's hands and allow it. But you have to pick up the blitz first, which was well done. Little move to the inside, and there's nobody out there. It's man-to-man. No help even from the middle of the field.
Nate Gary missed the tackle. And Rudock threw the ball out to Tavon Smith, right where the blitz came from. And now it is a 10-point Iowa lead. 37-yard catch and run for the touchdown. 3rd of the year for Tavon Smith. And Iowa now with a 10-point lead once again. Nebraska about to get the football back. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quint Kesnick here at Kinnick. And DeMornay Pearsonell, the freshman, decides late to take a knee. Now they run the option. The late toss to Abdullah. And a good job to string the play out by that Iowa defense.
You said it right. As long as Armstrong is running sideline to sideline, you're in great shape. And you want him to hold the ball and go this way because you're not gaining any ground. See Ott right there? That's really well played by Ott. Bowers on the outside gave nowhere for that ball to be pitched. Well played defense.
Only a gain of a yard. 4-man rush on 2nd and 9. Armstrong, better protection. And a catch made about 3 yards shy of the first down. Quentin Alston tied up DeMornay Pearsonell, the freshman. And they will mark him down at the 42-yard line. So 3rd down and 4 coming now.
Which now Armstrong's feet become part of the equation, and you have to account for them. You can still spread everybody out, but you better get somebody on his feet because he'll take it off. He'll take off and run. Even right here. Look, there's nothing back here. You can do a quarterback draw here.
Now they bring Quentin Alston down into the box. Showing blitz. Armstrong over the middle. It's tipped, intended for Bell. It was Alston that was near the line of scrimmage and then sunk deep in pass coverage. And it's 4th down. And again, the Huskers have to kick it away.
Yeah, Alston did a very good job of getting his eyes back inside on the quarterback and reading those eyes where he's going to take the ball. So See Alston with his eyes back inside. He read him the whole time. They were anticipating man, which the quarterback generally will. Oh, it's fumbled.
And unable to kick it away was Fultz. It caroms backwards inside the 15, scooped up. That's going to be an Iowa touchdown. And it's Drew Ott that runs it in.
Shoes, I think it was the rear end of one of these up guys that got the block. It was. It looked like it was Zach Hannon. And that's a big old keister to kick it into, too, let me tell you. But because he dropped the ball, couldn't handle it, Ott is able to come up with another Iowa score.
Last year, a Nebraska failed fake punt in the third quarter was a huge play in the Iowa win. Now a disaster on punt again for Nebraska. Cost them a touchdown. Looks like Jason Rainey, one of our camera guys. Jim Martin, another camera guy who's out in the elements today. Not like the soft members of our crew that are all bundled up back in the truck with the heaters running. These are the real guys out there braving the elements. But what a great night it was. And you could see what last night Matt Millen, the show that he put on at the Thanksgiving buffet back at the hotel. It really could only be described as grazing. I'm not sure if there's any other word that
Thank you very much.
appropriately sums it up. Fumbling the kick and then picking it back up is Kenny Bell. And he's out of bounds close to the 30-yard line. Play action. Armstrong over the middle. And it looked as if DeMornay Pearson-El may have been hit a little early by Jordan Lomax, but no flag comes out.
You know, these two safeties for Iowa are pretty good. Lomax does a nice job, and Loudermilk will be playing on Sundays. He'll have a chance. Loudermilk and Lomax play well and play well together and off each other. Loudermilk, of course, is the son of Kirk Loudermilk, the old center for the Minnesota Vikings, and he has his dad's toughness.
Abdullah cuts it back. He's got a first down and more. There goes Ameer Abdullah again to the 37-yard line of Iowa.
Choose at the next level. I don't see Ameer Abdullah being a 25 to 30 carry a game guy, but I see him as being a guy who you can use in the slot, who catches the ball out of the backfield, who can rely on for 10, at least 10 carries a game plus screens. He's a terrific player.
Now it's Amani Cross to the 31-yard line, a gain of nearly 6. And when they have gone to the ground game, they've had some success. You wonder, Ameer Abdullah gets one big run, goes to the sideline. Now they go to Amani Cross. They got down inside the 10-yard line, and all of a sudden started to throw the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, sometimes that happens with offensive coordinators when they figure, well, they're not going to allow us to do this. They'll load up the box. So let me show you, this passing game. Just stick with what works.
Now it's the freshman, and he gets tripped up. Pearson-El brought down by Mike Hardy. That's a loss of a couple. Now it's third down and a long 7, maybe 8.
The Iowa defense in these situations have been able to get pressure with 4. That's a great advantage.
Armstrong rolls out. Will he run for it? Buying time. Instead, he'll look to the end zone. He's got a man, and it's a touchdown. Tariq Allen got lost behind the Iowa coverage, and Nebraska's back in the game.
That's all on Armstrong. Great job of buying time. They roll him out, use his feet, but his eyes stayed down the field. He had patience. He just takes his time. Look at his eyes. He knows that's really well done. Somebody dropped the coverage back there somewhere.
It looked like Desmond King, the corner, was the closest to Tariq Allen when the ball finally got to the end zone. But Brown adds the point after, and now it's a 10-point game with 1:44 to go in the third.
Let's see what they did. They're going to come. It looks like they brought 5, which would indicate a blitz, generally man. Here's King down here on Bell. He just runs right through the middle. There's nobody there. It would have been Lomax, perhaps. Lomax may have dropped that coverage to the top side.
King did his best to recover, but that obviously wasn't his man.
A lot of time left in this game for Nebraska to be able to capitalize on what right here of what they've done well now is Ameer Abdullah's had a couple of big runs, and then Armstrong has been able to buy some time and find plays down the field.
Returnable kick from the 1. Jonathan Parker tripped up just across the 20-yard line. Weissman on a carry that should end the 3rd quarter out to about the 25-yard line. So we head to the 4th in the Hy-Vee Heroes game. The matchup between Nebraska and Iowa with the Hawkeyes on top by 10. And we'll return to Iowa City in just a moment. College football presented by Kay Jewelers continues after these messages and a word from our local ABC stations. We head to the 4th quarter here in Iowa City. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick, and what has been a very interesting and at times mistake-filled game. Iowa has the ball and a 10-point lead. Nebraska with some momentum, though. Their defense has played well. They'll run it to the edge with Kanziri, and he is swamped by Vincent Valentine. Nowhere to go. There were 5 Husker white jerseys out there shutting down Kanziri.
2 guys who've played extremely well here today. Valentine has done a very good job on the inside. Malik Collins also. And then if you want to add Geary, saved 1 missed tackle. Those 3 have played really well.
Based on how this team has gone, the question is, which is going to make the big mistake in the 4th quarter? 3rd down and 7.
You mean another mistake?
Rudock with a pump fake. Finds Martin Manley, but well short of the 1st down. Blanketed by Kalu. So it's 3 downs and out once again for Iowa, and they'll have to punt. And Nebraska should get excellent field position. Iowa's turned it over 4 times, twice in the red zone. Nebraska's turned it over twice. They missed a field goal. They had a field goal block that they could have advanced and did not. A blocked punt returned for an Iowa touchdown. So both teams have loaded up on the mistakes. A better kick this time for Dylan Kidd, driving. DeMornay Pearsonell all the way back to his 25, but he gets loose. Pearsonell to midfield. Couldn't make the punter miss. Dylan Kidd saved a touchdown, but a huge return by the true freshman, DeMornay Pearsonell of 42 yards.
Shades of Johnny Rodgers. Takes you back to the Heisman Trophy winner, and this is exactly what he looked like. The difference was Rodgers would have beat the kicker.
But a big punt return a moment ago. Play action for Tommy Armstrong. He wants to take a shot. Looking for Kenny Bell. He's got it in the back of the end zone. What a catch! Kenny Bell! Touchdown! Huskers!
That was awesome. What a great throw. And Kenny Bell just goes up and high points it. And by that I mean as high as he can get when all defenders are around. This is as good as it gets. Ball in the air. Watch him go up and get it around everybody. That is great. Great job by Kenny Bell.
Kenny Bell was a game-time decision with a head injury. How happy are the Huskers that he was able to work through it, get back on the field. Number 1 all-time at Nebraska in receptions, yards, and 3rd in touchdowns. That's his 19th receiving touchdown of his career. And it's a field goal game with 13:24 to go. Hard to imagine this SportsCenter top 10 nominee won't make it on the show tonight. That's a great catch.
The coverage was there, but the presence of Bell is the difference. Loudermilk can't quite get there.
And Armstrong now has only thrown for 132 total yards, but 3 of them for touchdowns. Here's Jonathan Parker. close to the 30-yard line.
Right now, if you're the Nebraska defense, they've solved the problem of defending the edge. They've done that well. They've turned over the inside running game to the two defensive tackles, Collins and Valentine. They are putting this game on the shoulders of Rudock. That's what they've done.
And Rudock to throw. Over the middle, incomplete. The pocket started to collapse as he tried to check it down to Mark Weisman. And Rudock ended up underneath Vincent Valentine.
Valentine right there in the middle. Yeah, they're betting. They're saying, okay, Rudock, you beat us, but we don't think you can.
Play action again. Rudock on a rollout. Shovels one and unable to hold on is Jake Rudock. And now it's 3rd down and 10.
Shoes, that one I don't get at all. I don't understand what the play call was about. They had the sideline. They're going to try to come with a comeback. That's the only thing they could do. And then Doozy underneath. There's no one in the middle of the field. It's not only that, it's good coverage. And this is good coverage on the outside with Smith. The only thing he can do is run a comeback, which clearly is not there. Then the underneath coverage, there was nobody there. I don't know what they want Rudock to throw it to. This is where they've had success, putting Rudock in this 3rd and long situation.
And they bring a blitz. Rudock under pressure. The pocket collapses. Somehow he gets it away, but it's incomplete. They're feeling it on that Nebraska sideline right now.
Yep, good call by you, Shoes. You can see it. The players know it. There were opportunities. Rudock missed it. This one he gets out of. But there's no answer for this pass game. Nebraska's taking it, and they're feeling it.
High snap. Spiraling kick. Pearsonell had a big punt return a moment ago to change the game. He might have another one here. Pearsonell. This time he beats the kicker and one more. The Huskers have the lead.
Pearsonell for the Nebraska touchdown.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pearsonell, but Pearsonell has confidence in Pearsonell. Because as that ball was up there, it was closing quick. He didn't hesitate at all. He knew exactly that he was going to take it and give himself that chance.
His 3rd punt return touchdown this season. He came into today 4th in the country in punt return average. And he has given the Huskers the lead. So Nebraska comes from 17 down to take the lead. How do the Hawkeyes respond? Still 12 minutes to go in what has been a wild game. It's the Hy-Vee Heroes game. That's the trophy they play for. And it right now rests on the Iowa sideline. But from 17 down, Nebraska has now retaken the lead as they look to avenge last year's loss in Lincoln. And DeMornay Pearsonell, the true freshman from Alexandria, Virginia, 3rd punt return touchdown of the season, has given the Huskers the lead. This kickoff bounces at the 6-yard line. Jonathan Parker, he'll get bottled up there. He catches that on the dead run. Who knows what might happen? Instead, he let it bounce. Rudock underneath to Kanziri. A gain of 6, maybe 7. David Santos brought him down. 2nd and short.
Nice job of protection from this offensive line. You haven't heard anything off the left side because Brandon Scherf has been blocking out that whole left side, whether it's in the run game or in the pass game. He's been consistent all game long.
The senior left tackle, 68 for Iowa, number 6 on Mel Kiper's big board. Kanziri shakes and bakes, close to another 1st down. It looks like he's got it.
Yeah, whenever they've had that that yardage where it's like the third, second and 3 or something like that, they run behind Scherf. Scherf will be a #1 pick. I don't know, he's not a prototypical left tackle. He doesn't have real long arms. Me, personally, I think he looks like a guard at the next level, and I think he'd be an all-pro guard. But he can play tackle as well. This one's on Jake Rudock. He's got to play. He's been not very good here in the second half, just 7-17.
Kanziri on first down. Gets to the edge, but only picks up about 2 yards. Josh Kalu was there to make the tackle after a gain of 2.5.
Kalu's played really well here in the second half. And the adjustment, whatever was made in the second half, defending the edge has worked well for Nebraska. Basically what it is I think is just they're fitting properly.
Better throw by Rudock. Jake Doozy, the tight end, with a first down.
That's a nice route by Doozy. And it's just leverage is all it is. He knows he has a defender on his inside, so you're breaking out. And just by turning to the outside, you're going to be open. You can see Doozy on the top side. All you're doing is just turning to the outside, and the ball's got to be there.
5-man rush. Rudock steps up in the pocket, and that was intended for Doozy, who stumbled with Byerson Cockrell just behind.
Good protection, however. He coming back to the ball. What I would say, one thing that you see out of Rudock is he holds onto the ball just a little too long. Just a touch. The ball comes out quicker. This is a more efficient offense.
Quarterback draw. Rudock tripped up, maybe a loss. Jack Ganglish made the tackle for loss. That's his 4th of the season. And now it's 3rd down and 11.
And this is where you want them to be. And now advantage Nebraska defensively. You can rush with 4. You can match on the backside. You can play zone over the top. Go ahead and run it if you want it for your quarterback.
Down by 4. Would this be 4-down territory if they get half of it?
At 5-minute mark, you might trust your defense one more time.
Rudock throws one right to the first down marker. Tavon Smith made the catch. Short. And it's 4th and 1.
That, however, is a big-time throw. And he did a nice job of being patient in the pocket. And he delivered it right where it had to be. Let's see the decision.
You have to go for it.
Yeah, you have to.
With 5:15 to go, down by 4, you need a touchdown or 2 field goals to take the lead.
But now, okay, let's see what we got. Are you going to trust? You're going to trust your power game and your offensive line and run behind Scherf on the left side, or are you going to roll the dice a little bit?
Weissman, he's got the first down and more. Almost went the distance. The high hurdle job to the 19-yard line. And no team this year has more 4th down conversions in the Big Ten than Iowa.
I do like the call, however, with Weissman. They trust him, and they trust that they're going to get a good push off the line of scrimmage, and they do. And not only do they not go behind Scherf, they go to the other side behind Donnell, and they come through.
Pretty good success rate for Mark Weissman on 4th down. He gets the carry again. This time driven back. Back to the 20-yard line where it will be 2nd down and long. Greg McMullen blew that play up for Nebraska.
McMullen's played well. He's redeemed himself here. The last 2 weeks he struggled on that edge. Not so this week. When you have Weissman, anytime you have him running sideways, you win. You don't want him to square his shoulders and come downhill.
Weissman again. Driving down to the 11-yard line.
That's when
just shy of the 10.
Yeah, that's when he's good. See how his shoulders are squared to the line of scrimmage and he's moving forward. That's when he's most effective. When you get him with his shoulders going sideways, not effective. So the one step and lateral and then come straight, that's called downhill, straight at you. That's what he does well.
3rd down and 1. Weissman, that's a first down. So it's 1st and goal, Iowa. 3:05 to go. And at some point during this exchange now, depending on how many plays, Iowa runs inside the 10. Bo Pelini might have to start thinking about using his timeouts.
Yeah, you're under the 3-minute mark. And they're not going to put, me if I'm Iowa, I'm not going to put the ball into the hands of the quarterback to win it. I'm going to trust my power and let Weissman bloody some noses.
There he goes again to the 5-yard line. And the clock winds down. This will take us inside of 2.5 minutes to go. Unless at some point Bo Pelini decides to use a timeout. If Iowa punches it in, how much time will Nebraska have on the clock?
And so you're thinking here, Shoes, this is 4 downs. You're using all 4 downs if you need them. So if you're going to waste it down, not waste it down, but take a chance on the down, it's right here with play action. On play action to Doozy into the end zone.
Devontae Martin-Manley on the backside of the stacked receivers. Rudock to throw. Swings it to Kanziri. He's into the end zone. That's a touchdown for Iowa. And the Huskers are now down once again.
Nice play call. Kanziri into the flat, and it comes open right away. There's no answer for coverage underneath. They're going to run this off, and Kanziri gets outside. There should be somebody coming from inside out, but it doesn't show. Yeah, there needs to be a backer or a safety on Kanziri, because there's no way they're just going to peel that in coverage.
Now a field goal separates these two teams with 1:49 to go. And now the timeout by Bo Pelini does work out to his advantage because he did save some time for his offense. But Rudock able to engineer a touchdown drive. And now Nebraska with 2 timeouts left. They need a field goal to tie the game, or maybe a touchdown to win it.
And this kick right here is a big deal because Nebraska has been very good in the return game today. And so if he can, he needs to drive this thing through the end zone.
Marshall Kane, number 1 in the Big Ten and number 3 in the country in touchback percentage. This one, not a touchback though, it's Kenny Bell from inside the 5. Pays the price at about the 28-yard line. Tommy Armstrong, 4-man rush. Under pressure off his back foot, incomplete. Tried to check down to Ameer Abdullah. 2nd down and 10.
That's on Carl Davis. Carl Davis brought the heat. Armstrong felt it, forced the bad throw. Davis has played himself a big game here today. They're going with a 4-man rush, keeping both safeties deep.
Armstrong threw it before Bell came out of his break, but the flag is thrown.
I'm not sure about that one.
Pass interference. Defense. Spot ball. Automatic first down.
That's Greg Mabin, sophomore corner.
Yeah, there was contact, but there was contact from both sides. And Kenny Bell threw Mabin by. Mabin did have his hand on him. But hey, there's the call. You got to play.
Big first down for the Huskers. 4-man rush. Armstrong avoids the rush. Throws it down the sideline. Intended for Bell or Pearsonell. They were both in the area, and it sails in between, incomplete.
Armstrong can buy some time with his feet back there, and he has. But you have to have a plan once he breaks the pocket. Meyer had his chance at getting the sack, but down the field, you had two guys at the same spot, and that shouldn't be.
Plenty of time for Nebraska still to get in the field goal range with 2 timeouts. Here comes a blitz. Wide open over the middle. The catch is made by Sethan Carter, the tight end. Great job by Tommy Armstrong off his back foot in the face of the blitz.
And he felt that the whole time. I don't particularly like the call right there. You're getting 4 guys. With 4 guys, you're getting pressure. You don't have to bring anything else. You make him have to be ultra accurate.
Armstrong looking down the sideline. It's a jump ball, making the adjustment and the catch inside the 15. Brandon Riley, wonderful job to adjust to the ball. And now Nebraska's thinking touchdown.
As they should.
1st and 10 for Nebraska at the Iowa 12.
Maben, look, the cardinal sin of his own defense is don't get beat deep. Now if you're going to have some pressure, now's the time. You got a short field, and they're a lot easier covered. But keep your eyes on Ameer Abdullah.
Quarterback draw. Armstrong inside the 10. Down to the 7-yard line. Does Iowa think about spending another timeout?
Well done by Alston. All that matters here, if you're going to have points, it has to be 3. It can't be 6 for Iowa.
Now Iowa will let the clock wind down. 2nd and 5. Ameer Abdullah right up the middle. Just short, it looks like, of the first down. Brought down by Jordan Lomax. They can pick up a first down inside the 2-yard line.
They're going to take a timeout.
So that will be the 2nd timeout called by Nebraska.
Nebraska, their 2nd. This will be a 30-second timeout.
What I would do is I would go with a tight man coverage, and this is the time to run your blitz. It's going to handle all your run gaps, and it's also going to account for any kind of, you have to put somebody on that quarterback. You have to be able to account for him.
Than 1. Nebraska gets it inside the 2-yard line. They can pick up a first down.
Look at the depth of this guard. See if he doesn't pull around.
He takes the handoff. The pile moves. Where do they spot the football?
Short. He's short.
And if he's short, it's no decision for Bo Pelini. You let the clock wind down, you call your timeout, you try and tie the game.
Yeah, it looks like he took the timeout with 12 seconds, and they'll kick it. And that's a great job of Iowa's defensive front of coming through when they had to. It was going to be Ameer Abdullah to the inside, and big Carl Davis on the inside, along with his friends, did a great job. There were so many of them, I didn't know who to pick.
He and his buddies. Well, it's the interior of that defensive line that the Hawkeyes have leaned on all season. Yeah, that's their strength.
Here's the key. See, he had to get double. Carl Davis handled not 1, but 2. Beat the first one, then Thurston had to come and get to him. And because Thurston did, that allowed the pressure off the backside to be able to come through, and Drew Ott eventually got into it.
Yeah. 20 yards away to try and tie the game. And he's got it right down the middle.
The thing that you love about games like this is the ability of the team to forget what just happened and move forward.
Right.
So yeah, we made a lot of mistakes today, and I missed tackles, and we had block kicks, and we had fumbles, and we had everything that you had that loses games. But here we are with 8 seconds left. Do you know what matters? Going forward, not thinking about what happened behind you. And now we got a tie game.
Squib kick. And running it forward all the way out to about the 48-yard line is Chad Gilson. 3 seconds to go. Well, this is at least in a position for Iowa based on the return by Gilson, one of the up protectors, that maybe if Rudock leans into a throw, he can throw it the distance before overtime. Rudock's going to go out there.
First and 10 for the Hawkeyes at their 40.
most likely just try and hoist one as far as he can. Devontae Martin Manley at 6 foot. One of the men to the right. Instead, it's over the middle, and they'll run a little hook and ladder. Devontae Martin Manley takes it from Tavon Smith. Another hook and lateral, and that's surf down the sideline. He tries to throw it back inbounds to Weissman, but they say he stepped out of bounds. The left tackle ends up being the final ball carrier of regulation.
As it should be. Surf's mad. He thought he had a chance to high step into the end zone.
I think he thought he might have tossed the ball back inbounds before stepping out. That's the end of regulation here in Iowa City. It ended appropriately for the type of game we've had. We'll return in just a moment. College football presented by Kay Jewelers will continue after these messages and a word from our local ABC stations. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Weissman driving down to the 21-yard line. He got the penalty yardage back plus 4 more. So 1st and 15 now becomes 2nd and 6. That's a big running play for Iowa.
That's a big difference. Yeah, now you're in 2nd and manageable, and you can get to 3rd and manageable. That was very good point of patience running by Weissman.
Again, it's Weissman. This time grabbed around the shoulder pads by Zaire Anderson. So it brings up a big 3rd down on this opening possession of overtime just inside the 20-yard line. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quint Kesnick here in Iowa City. Extra football between the Huskers and Hawks. And who knows how this game might end with all the different momentum swings and miscues we've had. Do you bring pressure here if you're Nebraska expecting a Rudock throw?
I would. They haven't.
They rush for him. Rudock protected, finds Doozy. Flag down in the secondary.
Holding. Defense number 10. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
I think the only discussion there amongst the officials was, did the play travel longer than maybe the half the distance to the goal penalty would? And looks like they did the math and figured out that the penalty was more beneficial to Iowa than the play. So it's 1st and goal. Puts the ball inside the 10-yard line.
And so now we go back to how do you handle Weissman as a runner? And then do you still try to put it back on your quarterback? And so you're Greg Davis and you're the offensive coordinator for Iowa. It looks like the answer is going to be, you know what, we're going to bloody your nose. We're going to pound the football. That's what we do. And you'll know what you'll do is you'll run away from numbers. And if you're doing that right now, you're going to run to the top right.
Play action. Rudock floats it into the end zone off the fingertips of Ray Hamilton. And incomplete.
I like taking your shot right there. That was the right time to do it.
Now, when you say that, are you expecting that this is the only shot that they'll take? Now you run it, or maybe play for the field goal?
Now he'll get something here that he wants to try to get maybe 4 or 5 yards. Obviously you want to score, but you'll live with 4 or 5 yards, and then you'll take your next play to the end zone.
Well, they still spread things out with 3 receivers, but they do have Weissman in as the lone setback.
It's balanced front, 3-3 on either side. You can run both ways.
They only picked up maybe 2 to 3 yards.
I don't like Weissman out on the edge like that. That's not his game. They've tried to capture the edge in the second half, and they've had no success with it. He's most effective between the tackles when the shoulders are square, coming right at you. Now you have to get to the end zone. You've got to kick the 3. Manley's the guy, number 11. Keep your eyes on him.
Doozy on 3rd down. Feels the pressure. Floats it in the end zone. Incomplete. Wow. Crowd looking for a flag, as is Doozy. No flag out. The Huskers get a stop inside the 10. And here comes the field goal unit for Iowa. So now Nebraska will know exactly what they need to do offensively.
And Zaire Anderson, he's had a great game here today, but this coverage may have been the best one. And does he have a little bit of hold to him? Yeah, just a tad down low. Let me tell you, all you young defenders out there, if you're going to grab, you grab down low by the waist. That generally doesn't get called.
25-yarder. Kane puts it up and puts it through. So now Nebraska gets the football, and a touchdown would win it for the Huskers. Kirk Ferentz is trying to make the case that the 70,000 or so Iowa fans were trying to make. He thought Zaire Anderson had just enough of a tug on the receiver that maybe a flag should have come out.
You can see it. And then, I mean, not like I've ever done this or anything.
No, this is way off your radar screen.
If you're going to bend the rules a little bit in pass coverage, you bend the rules by staying down below the jersey. That generally doesn't get called.
Well, you're a Raider. Raiders play by the rules. We all know that.
Absolutely. And we break as many as possible.
So now down a field goal, Nebraska gets their chance in overtime number 1. Armstrong, play action. Under pressure. And tries to get what he can. And it turns out to be about 2 yards. Eventually it's Carl Davis that brings him down. And when you're the road team in overtime, and you know a touchdown wins you the game, do you call it differently at all? Are you more aggressive? Do you think maybe you go for it here rather than get a little conservative, knowing you only need a field goal to continue?
Not right now. Right now, the first position you want to be in is give yourself an opportunity to stay in field goal position. Then secondly, you've got to get the 6 points. And then you've got to read your team to see where you're at, just in terms of momentum. And that
Abdullah, little stop-start run. Boy, he did well just to get to the 21-yard line. He could have been bottled up for a 3 or 4 yard loss.
But Drew Ott, that's great hustle by Drew Ott. Drew Ott, the defensive end, number 95, he comes right down the line. And if he's not there, who knows with Ameer Abdullah. You have to account for the feet right here of Armstrong.
Big third down. And a long 5. Close to 6. Blitz coming. Armstrong. Bullets went over the middle, and there's Kenny Bell inside the 10. First and goal, Huskers.
Nice throw. That's a bullet right on spot. And Bell is able to clear back inside. But the protection seems to be breaking down. He just pulls up his feet. That's a heck of a throw. 80 is your inside receiver. They were playing a zone. He felt the hole in the zone and found it. That's really well done by Bell.
Play action. Armstrong on a rollout. Throws one to the pylon. It's bobbled, and it's held on to. Kenny Bell's got a touchdown. Nebraska wins it in overtime.
That overtime win is on Armstrong because it was his feet that made the play.
Now the officials are getting together. Will they review to make sure that Kenny Bell had complete control of the football before he stepped out of bounds?
And his feet are down. They would call that 6.
Well, it was ruled a touchdown on the field.
After review, the ruling on the field's confirmed. Touchdown.
And there it is.
Game over.
They made sure they went upstairs just to have replay confirm it, and we get a thrilling end in overtime here in Iowa City. Nebraska down 24-7 at one point, Matt. They come from behind and survive even a late lead taken by Iowa to force overtime and get the win. Nebraska wins it in overtime. So long from Iowa City.